Hi everyone, so today we'll be going through a potential 2020 election prediction scenario between Beto O'Rourke, the former Texas congressman, the former 2018 Senate candidate for the Democrats in 2018, running against Senator Ted Cruz. He was also a former Texas congressman. And we're also going to be looking at some of the polls that have been done with Beto. And honestly, it's not looking the best for him. I mean, he consistently underperforms other Democrats. We had a very reliable Emerson poll come out recently that showed Trump actually leading by 2 points. With Beto O'Rourke, that's the lowest margin of error. And with the PPP poll, these are actually done in Democratic favor, so that's why it's 6. So it's really just Trump plus 2 and O'Rourke plus 6, and that's not great news for Beto, considering that people like Joe Biden and people like Bernie Sanders, and even sometimes Elizabeth Warren, consistently are in the top 2, maybe top 3 if you include Warren, of performing against Donald Trump in a potential general election scenario. So let's go through this electoral map. Washington, Oregon, California, Hawaii all would go into the safe Beto O'Rourke column. New Mexico would go into the safe column. Illinois, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, the District of Columbia. If I can click it. New York, one of those districts in the state of Maine, and I actually would put Colorado in the safe column given how the close proximity to Beto O'Rourke's home state of Texas. I could see Colorado ever so narrowly moving into the safe Democratic column. So 197 electoral votes for Beto O'Rourke. Now let's go through the safe Trump states: Alaska, Utah, Idaho, Wyoming, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, most of Nebraska except for that 2nd district, Kansas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, Mississippi, Alabama, South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, and Indiana. So, if we go ahead, I can't seem to find it. Anyway, 197 for Beto O'Rourke, 125 for Donald Trump. So where can Donald Trump make up this margin? I actually think against an establishment Democrat who really doesn't have much in the way of policy. I actually think that Donald Trump could do very well in the Midwest and in the South, and we'll come back to these states in a moment. But let's go through the South first. So Florida, I see moving into the leaning Republican column. Georgia, moving into the leaning Republican column. North Carolina in the leaning Republican column. Just because, again, these 3 states don't necessarily all have it all in for Beto O'Rourke. And if we go ahead and look at the North Carolina polling, North Carolina, Trump v. O'Rourke. Yeah, so the only poll done, this is even by a Democratic-leaning poll, shows Trump leading by 1. I see North Carolina moving into the leaning Republican column. So 197 electoral votes for Beto O'Rourke, 185 for Donald Trump. Now, talking about the state of Virginia, this one could get slightly interesting given the Democrats who have been in power in Virginia in the last few weeks and months, and all the scandals that have followed all 3 of the top leading Democrats there, which are Ralph Northam, Justin Fairfax, and the other guy, I think it's Fox or something. Anyway, whatever. But I know Fairfax and Northam are both in scandals right now. The media has stopped covering them. Yeah, so 210 for O'Rourke, 185 for Donald Trump. Talking about the Midwest, I again think this is an area where Trump can excel and exceed expectations in this area of the country. Because I really just don't think that but Beto O'Rourke I don't think he's the high quality candidate that the Democrats would need to beat Donald Trump. So if we go ahead and look at Pennsylvania, Trump v. O'Rourke. We can see O'Rourke leading narrowly in Michigan. Trump v. O'Rourke. Yeah, this one has... Oh, where is it? I'm sure that there was a Michigan poll done. Anyway, Wisconsin, Trump v. O'Rourke. So again, Beto O'Rourke only narrowly leading by 2 points in Pennsylvania and in Wisconsin. However, I don't think that's going to last. I think right now, just because, you know, Beto O'Rourke is this star coming out of Texas, you know, I don't think it's going to last. I see President Trump carrying Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania all very narrowly. I see Trump carrying all 3 of those states. In the state of Ohio, I see the state of Ohio also moving into the Trump column. Sorry, I'm actually going to take back the state of Pennsylvania. I'm just not 100% sure I want to move Pennsylvania in yet with Wisconsin and Michigan, just because Pennsylvania, Democrats just did so well here in the 2018 midterms. I think that O'Rourke would actually stand a chance. So I'll come back to the state of Pennsylvania. Iowa moves into the Trump column, but Beto O'Rourke would be able to win narrowly in the state of Minnesota. So 220 for Beto O'Rourke, 235 for Donald Trump. Look, we're going to fill in the rest of the map, and then we're going to move into the Southwest, which I'll come on to in a second. So, Donald Trump, I see winning that 2nd district of Nebraska. Democrats couldn't win it in 2018. There's no reason why Democrats would be able to win in 2020 that district. Maine's 2nd district, that would move into the likely GOP column. And then Maine at large moves into the leaning Democratic column. So 222 for O'Rourke, 237 for Donald Trump. Again, the state of New Hampshire, that one would move into the Democratic column. But Pennsylvania, I'm actually taking that back. I do think that it could very, very narrowly move into the Beto O'Rourke column by a slither, just barely moving into the Beto O'Rourke column. Recounts could be involved at this point, but I see Pennsylvania moving into the O'Rourke column. I just think that just because Democrats did so well here in the 2018 midterms, and because Hillary Clinton only barely lost the state to Trump in 2016, I think that Beto O'Rourke would be able to pull in enough disaffected Republicans to not energize Democrats, but enough disaffected Republicans, I think, to push him over the finish line in Pennsylvania. So 246 for Beto O'Rourke, 237 for Donald Trump. Trump's going to win Texas. So that's pretty much ball game at this point. Trump wins Texas. That puts him over the line at 275. Again, Beto O'Rourke is from Texas, but I still see Trump edging him out in Texas, just because, again, O'Rourke wasn't able to do that with Ted Cruz. He lost by 3 percentage points. He did lose. I see Trump winning in the state of Texas. It's still a Republican state. But in Arizona and Nevada, I see both of these states narrowly moving into the Democratic column. Beto O'Rourke would do a great job appealing to those voters from Texas. So, a very, very close election. 263 for Beto O'Rourke, 275 for Donald Trump. Thank you for watching this video. Comment down your suggestions below, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.